Ironman 70.3 Acapulco. By far the most challenging event that I've done so far. Jesse Itzler says, do something once a year that challenges you so much that it sticks with you all year. I heard him at the 10X Growth Conference in February of 2019. That year I decided to set a 10X goal. I had just done a sprint distance triathlon and I decided to set a goal of an Ironman. I started writing down, I'm an Ironman. And 6 months in, I met a coach who helped me do my first Ironman 70.3 in December of 2019, which was a very challenging race, mentally challenging, physically challenging. And at the end of it, I felt fine. I walked a lot of the run, and at the end of it, I felt like I could have pushed harder. Then I set another goal for 2020 to do a full Ironman. I was training strong. I had back-to-back 70.3s planned in April and then in May. And then the pandemic broke out, and I allowed the negativity of the media to affect my training schedule, my mind. And slowly but surely, as hours at work got cut and I didn't need to wake up as early, my training schedule suffered also, my sleep schedule, and 2020 passed. And I set a new goal, 2021, to finish one by the end of the year. I deferred Ironman 70.3 Galveston to April, and though I only trained for 6 weeks, I finished 30 minutes faster than Indian Wells. I felt really good. And I spoke with Coach about doing a full Ironman, and he said, Ironman's no joke. He said, you have to be committed. You have to train every day. You have to stick to the training plan 100%. And gracias a Dios, at the end of 2021, in October, I did my first full Ironman, and that was challenging, but it was beautiful. Coach said luxury training day, and it was awesome. And at the end of it, I struggled just a little bit in the run, but a few challenges, and I pushed and did the second loop of the run faster than the first one. I felt really strong, finished it. Afterwards, I had the shakes. I sat down. Afterwards, it was a little rough physically, but mentally, I felt strong. So this year, I deferred the race that I was going to do in 2020. I was going to do Monterrey, and pushed it. Sometimes they did, sometimes I did. And this time, I deferred here to Acapulco. And it's so cool. My cousins did it too. And this is my first warm race. And even though it's not super hot, it's like in the 80s. The humidity, the sun, the wind, and lack of preparation made this the most challenging race that I've done so far. On top of that, the lack of nutrition on the course that I'm used to. And all the other events that I've done, they've had a Gatorade Endurance, which has more electrolytes and fewer sugars, which is what I trained with. And here they had regular Gatorade, which has more sugar and seems to upset my stomach. So at bike check-in yesterday, there was a part where we couldn't drive in anymore. We had to ride the bike to the check-in. And I went up this hill, down this hill, up this hill, down this hill, down this hill, down this hill, down this hill to bike check-in. And I thought, my goodness, I'm gonna have to ride up this immediately after the swim. And I started psyching myself out. I also learned that there may be jellyfish, and some tips: put Vaseline on. I also purchased a long sleeve tri-top, which I hadn't swam in before, but I've swam in long sleeves with a wetsuit before, and so I figured I'd be okay. And I was. The swim was fine. Started in my group. I finished in 52 minutes. Felt really good. And I took my time in transition. I took a long time in transition. Changed, put on my tri-suit, got ready to go. And on the way up the hill, I decided to zigzag. Great idea. So I didn't burn out early on. And coach told me that I should take it a little easy on the swim, easy on the bike, because the run was going to be really challenging. It's going to be in the heat of the day. And it was. On the bike, I took the first loop easy. And the second loop, I figured I would zoom. Now that I knew the loop, I went the first loop casually, the first half of it casually. Then on the way back, I flew, and I thought, man, this is going to be great. Now I'll fly on the way up and on the way back. Well, about half of the way up, I started getting a cramp in my quad on my right side. So I had to adjust a little bit. I realized I might have been a little dehydrated. I was drinking Gatorade every now and then, and my goos that I take, they have some sodium in them, but I realized I was probably dehydrated a little bit. So I started having some bananas, which have potassium, and sipping Gatorade every now and then. I took more goos every 30 minutes instead of 45 minutes. And I finished the bike, and on the way back, I didn't fly. On the way back, it was very challenging. I kept my RPMs up, my cadence up, and I found a way to make it so that I didn't really cramp as much. And I started dreading the run. I thought about quitting. That was the first time I thought about quitting, was on the way back on the bike. I thought about quitting countless times this time. And it's crazy what the mind will do. It'll start talking negatively to you. On the way, I imagine seeing my family, and I imagine seeing my dad, and him telling me that I might have been taking too long, and asking if I'm okay. And I already rehearsed it in my mind, and telling him that I feel pretty good, I feel strong. I'm getting a little bit of a cramp, but I think I'm okay. And I didn't. He saw me and he says, "Finish strong, mijo." And so that put that thought in my mind. I said, I need to finish strong. I can finish strong. I can do this. So I started on the run, and immediately I started cramping on both sides, both quads. And so I stop and stretch, and when I stretch my left quad, I'm okay. I stretch my right one, and my hamstring starts cramping. Oh my goodness, strong cramp. And so I stretch out, I rub it a little bit, and I get going. And I'm running up. I see my cousins, super cool. And I realize, you know what, I'm probably dehydrated still. Fortunately, I have some of the right stuff, which is salt. And so I put that in my water. I drank some. And on the way up, I was okay. And on the way back, I started psyching myself out again, and I walked for probably half or more of the way back on the loop. And I started seeing some people with their finisher shirts, and I started talking to myself, this is the finisher shirt here, the front of it. It's funny. This is it. And usually they're bright colored, usually they're more breathable. I could tell that this was more like a regular t-shirt. And so I started telling myself that I don't even want one of those. But then I saw the back. It says finisher, and I thought, you know what, I'm not a quitter. I started this, I need to finish this. And the other thing that I needed was this. I needed this to add to the collection. I didn't come this far to only come this far. And so I kept pushing. When I saw my family, again, finish strong, you got this. And in my mind, honestly, before I got to that second part where I turn around to join the second loop, I started thinking maybe the time will save me. Maybe I won't make the second loop. Maybe they'll cut me off and I won't be a quitter. Maybe they'll tell me that I didn't make the time. But I started pushing, and I thought, no, I can't do that. I'm still a quitter. I need to finish this thing. As soon as I started the second loop, I knew I was good. I knew I was good. Honestly, before I started the second loop, there were people cheering on and saying, you got this, you got this. You're almost there, you're almost at the finish line. And I kept telling myself, I'm not though. I'm still on the first loop. I have a whole nother loop to do. You got this, but I don't. I'm only at the first loop. I have a whole nother loop to do. You're almost at the finish line, but I'm not. I got a whole nother loop to do. So I finished the first loop, and I started going. I thought of a different plan. I thought, why don't I run for a minute, walk for 30 seconds, run for a minute, walk for 30 seconds. So that's what I did. I started going, run, walk, run, walk, run, walk. One of the officials drives up in a motorcycle or a scooter and says, "Did you just start the second loop?" I said, "Yeah, maybe 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago." He said, "All right." And you hear him on the walkie-talkie, 232, my number 232. Like, oh, what are they saying? And so I keep running, I keep jogging. Minute passes by, 2 minutes, I'm jogging until I can't see that guy anymore. And I'm going. And I told myself I have to look strong. I have to run as much as I possibly can here, so this guy believes that I'm gonna finish this thing. And sure enough, once I get out of his sight, I walk a little bit, run a little bit, walk a little bit, run a little bit. He zooms up again and he tells me, "You're gonna make it." He says, "Te salvó." He said, you're saved by the second loop. I think, thank God, I'm saved by the second loop. He said, your pace, your current pace, you're gonna finish. And so that was enough. That was enough for me to see the finish line. I couldn't see it from the bike. I couldn't see it. That was enough for me to see it. And so I ran and I walked and I ran and I walked and I ran and I walked. Turned the last quarter, and I'm running and I'm walking, I'm running and I'm walking. And I realize I'm cutting it close. Dad tells me, your current pace, you're gonna finish at 4:32, and you have to finish by 4:30. You got to shave off 2 minutes. So I run, and I start cramping, and I run, and then I walk a little bit, and then I run. People are cheering on. You got this. You're gonna finish. You're right there. 12-mile marker. I'm running. I got 1 more mile. I got this. I can do anything for 5-10 minutes. I got anything. And really, I kept hearing Dad. I remember when we did the training for, or no, it was when we were doing Jack's Generic. We did like a simulation run, and Dad told me that when he feels like he's out of gas, he just puts his head down and takes 1 step in front of the other. And so that's what I did. I put my head down, 1 step in front of the other, head down, 1 step in front of the other, head down, 1 step in front of the other. I thought I can run for a minute. I can run for a minute. And I started getting close, and they tell me it's right there, and I look and I can see it, and I run, and I finish, I've cried without tears many times in many races. There's a time where it's like and it's an actual cry, right? But the tears don't come out. This is the first time that I let out whimpers. It was really interesting, just breathing out like, and it just said, ah! It was crazy, but I pushed to the end. I'm not a quitter. What a day. And I did it, and I finished, my finisher. This will stick with me. What a great day to finish here in paradise. What a great day. So every year do something that challenges you, something that pushes you. Mentally, physically. Test yourself. And push and remember it throughout the whole year. So I want to remember a reminder. Be the change.